Okay, so today we're looking at matrix multiplication. It is a bigger chapter than what you're used to for matrices, so make sure you pay attention and write your notes in your book, but yes, we'll be highlighting our way through. So, matrix multiplication is when you multiply a matrix by another matrix. Now, it's important to note that not all matrices can be multiplied together. Okay. The rule for determining which matrices can be multiplied is as follows. Okay, so the first step is write down the order of the matrices. Okay, now hopefully you can remember when you write the order, you always do the row first, rows times the column. Okay, that's how you write an order of a matrix. So you need to write them down for both. Okay, now the second step is two matrices can only be multiplied if the number of columns in the first matrix equals the number of rows in the second matrix. The inside numbers must be the same. Okay, so for this one, okay, you've got an order of the first matrix, it's m times n. Okay, so when you have the order of your second matrix, n times n, p, the fact that you've got an n on the inside means that you can multiply. Okay, so it's like, yeah, you've got your rows of your first matrix times the column of your first matrix. Okay, then you've got your row of your second one times your column, going to do that, of your second one. So if your column 1 and your row of the second one are the same, the inside numbers, then you can multiply. Okay, it'll probably make more sense when I have a numbered matrix below. So if the numbers match, multiplication is possible and the answer is defined. We use the word defined. You can have an answer. If the numbers do not match, multiplication is not possible, so the answer is undefined. Okay, so when you write the order of your matrices, if you find that those inside numbers are different, that means it is undefined if you're being asked to multiply them. Now the last important bit is that the outside numbers, when you write the order, gives you the order of your answer. Okay, so the size of your matrices depends on the outside of them. So for this one, whatever the number m is and the number p of your second one, okay, the outside, that means the answer when you multiply those two matrices, the size or the order is going to be m times p. So for an example, let's look at these. So we're looking at this box here. We've got A, B, C, and D, okay, all different matrices, different sizes. Now, it's important to note that the order of an equation is important, okay? So it means A times D doesn't equal D times A, okay? Usually, if you have the numbers 2 times 3, well, that equals 6, okay? And if you do 3 times 2, that equals 6. So usually with multiplication, we call it the associative law, we can say that that's correct, like they can be either way around. But when you're multiplying matrices, the order does matter. Okay, so multiplying one by the other, if you do it the other way around, they don't equal the same. That's what that note means. So when proving if a solution will be defined or not, keep matrices in order of the equation. So if you're finding A, D, now remember when your letters are next to each other, you're multiplying, so A times D. So the first step is to write your order, okay? So how many rows does A have? It has, 1, 2, 3 rows, okay? And columns, it has 1, 2 columns. Okay, the next one, again, we do rows first. So D has 1, 2, 3 rows. And columns, it has one column here. Okay, so that's good. So step 2 is looking at the inside numbers. So this one we've got a 2 and this one we have a 3. They don't equal one another. They're not the same. Okay, so that means that these matrices multiplied together is undefined. Okay, these ones cannot be multiplied together. So let's look at another one. I won't go through all of them. You can look through them, but let's have a look at the one underneath. So find B times C. So step 1, okay, write the order of the matrices. Again, if you're not sure what step 1 is, go back up here and you've got step 1, okay. Step 1, write the order of the matrices. So this one, row 2 and column 1. And for C, we've got 1 row and 3 columns. So 3. We've got our order there. Step 2, okay, we need to see, do those middle numbers equal the same? So the inside one is here 1, inside is 1 here. So they are the same, which means we can multiply these together. So that's good. So our answer is defined. Okay. Now the resulting order, okay, that means that when we multiply these two matrices together, the order or the size of our matrix, the answer, is going to be a 2 by 3. So you can imagine it being like this. Okay, that's 2 rows and 3 columns. That's what it's going to look like. That's the size of it. Okay. So how do you actually multiply them? Going down, matrix multiplication. Multiplying matrices can be done using technology, same steps as for addition or by hand. It is important to know the steps of matrix multiplication by hand. There are several different methods to follow. Below is just one. Okay. It gets a bit, it's just, what's the word? It can be a bit difficult, but if you follow the process, it should be fine. Okay. So step 1 is determine if the answer will be defined. So that's all what we talked about from the last one. Okay, you need to find the order of both matrices. If those middle numbers equal the same, that means you can multiply them, and the outside numbers will tell you what size the answer will be. That's your first step. Okay, step 2. Now with these examples, we're using A, B, and C. Okay, we're multiplying A times B, which will give us C. Okay. And the reason we can multiply these, because the order, this has got rows 2 and 2 columns, and this one has B, has 2 rows and 2 columns. Okay, the inside numbers are the same, so we can multiply them, and the outside numbers are 2 by 2, so we know that our answer should be a 2 by 2 matrix. So step 2 says to find the first element C11. Okay, now remember, this 1, 1, it's not 11. It means first row, first column of C. Okay, so that's why we're looking at this one. First row, first column of C. To find what number goes there when you're multiplying A and B, what it means is you need to multiply the first row, okay, of the first matrix, so this one, multiply it by the first column of the other one. Okay, so that one is first row and then first column of the other one. Now you need to multiply them together and add the answer. So this is really well color coordinated or color coded, sorry. So over here we've got A11. Okay, we need to multiply it by B11, which is here. And then you need to add A12 by B21, okay, which is this bit here. So once you multiply, add, multiply, you will get the number that should go in C11. Okay, it's a bit hard to show with the recording, but yeah, you just need to make sure you can color coordinate if that helps you. And yeah, we'll keep going. So step 3, it's the same as step 2. Okay, repeat step 2 using the first row in matrix A and moving along the columns in matrix B until you run out. Okay, so before we just found that first element, now we want to find this second element. So it says 1, 2, so we need to look at the first row in the first matrix, and we need to multiply by the second column in the second matrix. Okay, so we've got, let me try to color coordinate. Okay, so we need to multiply this one times this one, which gives you here. And then we need to add this one times this one. Okay, and that will give you the position or the element that goes in the position C12. Okay, so far we've got C11 and C12. The next step 4 and 5 is the bottom ones. So we can have a look again. So for step 4, we're trying to find C21. Okay, so, whoops, C21. Okay, C means you get the second row. Oops, second row. Okay, and you times it by the first column. And this is your, let me go a different color, matrix 1, and that tells you matrix 2. Okay, that's just a little bit of extra notes for you, but if you are getting it, that's fine. Okay, so we're trying to find this one. So the 2 says the second row of your first matrix. So our first matrix and our second row is this one. And then our second matrix, we need to multiply our first column, which is why that one's highlighted. Okay, so that means we need to do so over here, okay, we've got to go A21 times B11, okay, which is, yeah, these ones here. And then we add the multiplication of the second one and the one underneath. Okay, so these two, multiply them. Once you add your answers together, you get that other element. Okay. So you do it again to get that very last one. So you keep going until you get all the elements in your new matrix. So this is a summary. If that was a little bit tricky, it doesn't make sense. Hopefully that can help. And here's a numbered example. So have a go at that. There will also be Miss Savage's CAS calculator video up to show you how to do it for that. Okay. Okay, I'll leave it with you.